Hi everybody, I just wanted to come on today and talk about this phenomenal event that we have happening later this evening, which is the full moon lunar eclipse in Scorpio. So if you've been following me, you've heard me talk about the wonderful energies that we have available to us during this time to help us purge and release those things which no longer serve us so that we can move into the fullness of who we are. And this energy is going to be with us well into next year. So if you haven't heard me speak about the specifics about this energy, about our collective north and south nodes and what this energy is going to do to help us at this time, I'm going to include a link in the description about a video that I did regarding that, around the auspicious energies that are available to us during this time. And this full moon total lunar eclipse is a part of that process to help us right now. We've had plenty of opportunities over the last several weeks to help us purge and release those things that no longer serve us, and we have an additional wonderful opportunity this evening to do that yet again, and even in a deeper way. So if you've been working with this energy since the beginning of this year, you've probably already done a lot of clearing and cleansing. And in fact, for many of us, this process started a couple of years ago at least, if not more. And so what's happening now is, because of the intensities of the energies that exist right now, we have an additional opportunity to dig even deeper and go into the deepest of the deep things that are residual energies left around, maybe from lifetimes, but at least from this lifetime, of things that we've repeatedly done over and over that we can now let go of so that we can move into a greater fullness and awareness of who we really are. At least that's some of what's available. There's plenty of things that we can be releasing right now, but a lot of it is just around this deep, dark, residual energy that's been here for a long time. The deepest of things, like we've cleared out a lot of stuff off the top, but then there's this deeper stuff that now has an opportunity to come up and clear out. So this full moon lunar eclipse in Scorpio is a really good time to help us face some of that deep, dark stuff so that we can let it go and move forward in our lives now. Okay, so I want to talk about some very important specifics related to this particular full moon. In addition to it being a full moon with a lunar eclipse in Scorpio, this is also a super moon. And so what that means is this moon is going to actually be at its closest point to the Earth than it normally would be. That's called a full moon in perigee. So that means it's going to be an additional amount of intensity around this energy to help us to move and process through the things that we're working through right now, with the full moon being, and the moon in general, being related to our emotional body and the things that we're dealing with emotionally. And then you add to that it's actually a Scorpio full moon and a lunar eclipse in Scorpio. Scorpio is about deep emotional energy and dealing with those very, very deep things that we still have left to resolve. It's about death and rebirth, which is tied to our emotional body, of things that we need to do so that we can become a newer version of who we're supposed to be. So there's a lot of energy around emotions and the things that we need to release that help us to be able to move forward on an emotional level, on a mental level, on a spiritual level, on a physical level, things that we need to let go of so that we can move forward into being the best version of who we're supposed to be, which is exciting. It's intense. It's very intense, sometimes very uncomfortable, but it's also so very, very exciting because it's an opportunity for us to become bigger, truer versions of who we are supposed to be, pure versions, more godlike than we were before. And so it's a wonderful, wonderful time, if you will see it that way, right? Not that it's a comfortable time necessarily, but just a great opportunity to become more of the fullness of who we are supposed to be. So yes, it is a super moon. It's also considered a blood moon because of the eclipse. And what that means is that a couple of things, but it means that the sun and the moon and the earth are going to be perfectly aligned. The sun represents masculine energy, the moon represents feminine energy, and the earth is what pulls them together. So there's going to be this complete alignment of all of those beautiful energies. And I recommend that you look at this as something that should happen within you first. So certainly when I mention masculine and feminine energies, the inclination, particularly for feminines, is to think of it in terms of romance, which is okay. You can do that. But in order for you to have that aligned external relationship, that alignment needs to happen here first. And this is a great time for you to obtain that alignment. Whether you're a masculine or a feminine, so that you can draw in that divine partner, not just a soulmate partner who's going to trigger you, and you can use that as an excuse to say, well, this is triggering me, so it's part of my development. That's not what that is. That's a whole other video. But you come up with a true divine partner who aligns with every area of your life. You align mentally, physically, emotional, spiritually, and sexually. All of those things come into alignment. Doesn't mean you don't have issues, doesn't mean there's not things to work through, but they're worked through in safety and respect and dignity, and not things that would cause you to feel less than who you are. This moon is allowing you the opportunity to come into complete alignment with those energies internally, so that you can then be a beacon for those aligned energies externally. So yes, great supermoon in perigee. The Earth, Sun, and Moon will be perfectly aligned, and the way that's going to happen is that the Earth is actually going to move in between the Sun and the Moon, and so we're going to have the Earth, this grounded Earth energy, casting a shadow on the Moon. That's what gives it its red appearance, and so that it is called the blood moon. And so as the Earth casts a shadow on this emotional body, it brings up these things to be purged out, like a letting. That's the whole blood moon symbolism as I see it. So there's like this arising that comes up because of this Earth grounded energy coming across the emotional, sometimes not so grounded energy, and then causing all that to come up like blood, so that it can be purged out of us like a bloodletting, or you could think of it in terms of like a menses, where things are cleared and washed out. So it's going to be that kind of energy that's going to be happening right now. So a great time for us to have things come up and purge from our emotional body, our physical bodies, our mental body, our spiritual, like all of it. It's really, really a great time for us to work with that. And again, if you want to not do this right now, there will be opportunity throughout the rest of the year. We will have a reverse of this. I think it's in November, but sometime later this year. And then also we'll have something occurring, other things going on throughout the next year, so that you can continue to work with these energies. So very great time. What are some things you can expect symptomatically? Well, because this is a full lunar eclipse in Scorpio, and it's about releasing and letting go so that we can move forward, you may experience some things around the knees, tightness in the thighs, the hip area in particular, digestive issues, sciatica, things like that. Anything between the area of the waist and the knees can come up for you, actually physically, that you may feel some of these symptoms around your cycle. Maybe your cycle's coming sooner or later than it normally would because of this full moon. If you are someone who does intuitive and healing work, this can especially be true for you, because cycles tend to line up with that full moon energy if you are that person. So just be considerate of that. Maybe things are feeling a little more intense than they usually would. Anything from the waist to the knees, this is the area of moving forward. So if you're feeling those things, know that it could be related to the energy around the time that we're in right now. I wanted to say something else about that. Yeah, it's all about just moving forward. This is the area of the body where moving forward can be a challenge, and you will feel some things. This is what I was going to say. This is why spending some time with yourself and with your body is going to be getting that alignment here. It's going to be very important, getting that grounded earth energy, since it is the earth that's in operation, that's moving effectively to cover the moon. Being grounded and in that earth energy will help you be able to identify when things are maybe showing up physically in your body, so that you can allow whatever that energy is to come up and be released, so that you can move forward now into what it is that you're supposed to be moving forward into. What are some recommendations you can do for this time? I always love to recommend around the full moon a nice salt bath. A nice cleansing salt draws things out, impurities out of the body. This has been a technique that's been used medically even for centuries. But so salt baths are a great thing to do. One of the ones that I really like is a nice yangling and patchouli and rose. But if you're a gentleman and maybe that's a little too much for you, bergamot, frankincense, anything like that. And if you have a hard time finding, or just regular salt, like Epsom salt, sea salt, you can make your own if you have a hard time finding some in the store, with essential oils and just some straight up sea salt, or some Epsom salt that you can use. I just say do your homework, make sure you know how to use oils so that you use the right amount and you portion it out with the water, because I know bergamot in particular can cause skin sensitivities to light and things like that. So you just want to be mindful of what you're using. Listen to your intuition. It will tell you what you need. This is the time where you really want to be listening to yourself anyway. So taking the time to listen to what your spirit is telling you that you need to do right now is going to help you know exactly what it is that you specifically need to do right now, because it's different for everybody. Okay, so like I said, because we're working with great earth energies right now, meditation, great time for that. Just sitting still, not a guided meditation necessarily, but a meditation of just being with yourself, being still, being quiet. Even if it's not an official meditation, just taking some time to be alone and be with you. This is the time to really focus on what is going on internally within you, what is trying to come to the surface. Taking a nice nature walk, doing something by yourself, just to be alone with you, being your own advisor, your own best friend, and letting your body, your spirit, your mind, your energy tell you what is going on with you at this time that you can release and work with during this time. So spending time with yourself is going to be a really good thing for you to do right now. It's about focusing on you, giving yourself the love and compassion that you maybe have so readily given to others. It's I call this honoring yourself, like listening to who you are, listening to the inner part of you that is speaking and whatever it's calling out for you to do. So many of us have it so backwards. We spend so much time pouring out for other people or listening to what they're telling us, and we abandon ourselves because we're not listening to the voice within that is telling us about what we need to do. It's that old thing that you've heard, if you've flown, or you've heard as an analogy repeatedly, that says that when you're on a plane, if there's trouble, put your mask on first and then put on the other person's mask. If you're not taking care of yourself and you have this attitude of selflessness that you've got to give to everybody else first, that is not how that is supposed to work. Like, you're not giving people what they need completely when you're giving out of that. What it's supposed to happen is you are supposed to be with yourself, giving yourself love and compassion, listening to yourself, giving you what you need first, so that now you have an abundance that flows out of you that you're able to give to other people. They receive out of your abundance, not out of your internal lack. That internal lack is not helping them, and it is definitely not giving them all that they need. Even though it may be giving them enough to get them by, it is not giving them what they need, and it is most definitely not serving you. So start with yourself. Put your own mask on first. Sit with you. Be quiet. Be still. Be with yourself. And then as that happens, that'll open up the floodgates for you to have an abundance to pour out and give to others. I promise you this. I've done it both ways. Trust me. Be with yourself. Take the time to take care of you. Anyone who's pulling you away from that is not someone who cares about you. I'm just going to say that as clearly as I can. Anyone who is pulling you away from being able to take care of you first does not have your best interest at heart. They simply do not. So take care of you and then pour out, and you'll be able to more clearly see who actually is on your side, who you should be working with, and who you need to let go of during this time. It'll help you have clarity around that too. I always like to try to give you some assistance around some stones too that you can help with yourself during this time. So some of the ones that I have mentioned before that I want to mention again, one that I really like is blue kyanite, and I don't know what happened to my blue kyanite. I think it walked off the table. But it's not, I don't know where it is. Blue kyanite, oh, here it is. So this is blue kyanite, and this is a really great stone for helping you speak your truth, which is a really big theme coming up during this time. It also helps you to work with trauma. So if you're somebody who's processing trauma at this time, or really any time, this is going to be a nice, great stone to help you work through that. This is great for helping you move beyond difficult situations. So if you are in a difficult situation, relationship, job, whatever, and you're struggling with moving forward, this stone can really help soothe you and help you with that process to help you move past that. It helps with bringing you peace, strength, tranquility. So all of that and perseverance, all of that can help you to be able to go in the direction that you need to go, or be able to see and face the things that you need to see and face at this time so you can move forward. This also helps dispel blockages, so that if there's any blocks to stopping you from moving forward, this is a good supportive stone to help you with that. I also want to mention that this is a good amplifying stone. So if you have any other stones that you're working with and you need a little extra oomph, this will actually do a really great job of giving you the oomph that you maybe need. Another stone I want to mention is Aquamarine. Aquamarine is a beautiful, soft, healing stone that also is great for calming you and allowing you to be able to have clarity around a situation. Aquamarine offers courage and helps you have that, helps you to focus on the things that you can change so that you can realize the things that are beyond your control that you're not able to change. It's the whole serenity prayer, right? Yeah, it's the serenity prayer. God, give me the strength to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. This stone will help you have some of that wisdom and courage to do with the things you can do and to be able to understand what is not in your control so that you can move forward beyond that. And in some cases, help you to communicate also. So if you're in a situation, whether it's any kind of relationship, romantic, friendships, job, whatever, and it's time for you to let some of that go, this is a nice supportive stone to help you be able to communicate that in a way that works for you and is holding to your truth. So that's a good stone. Morganite is also another good stone that can really help you with forgiveness, self-forgiveness, forgiveness of others, acceptance of a situation. Maybe it's time to let go of and you're having a hard time accepting that. It's time to let that go. This is a good supportive stone to help you with that because it's also great for helping you release attachment to things that maybe you were holding on to out of emotional woundedness versus out of a true divine connection that you have with somebody. And again, it doesn't matter whether it's a job, a friendship, family, romantic partners, all of that can still be attachment, and attachments based upon emotional woundedness versus our divine guidance and our divine life path. So this will help you be able to move forward. Great heartstone, gives you peace, joy, and confidence. So that's one that I also really like. Some other stones, rose quartz. I've mentioned this before. Rose quartz is a great heartstone, good for self-compassion, for forgiveness also of yourself and others, and unconditional love for yourself first so that you can exercise that towards other people. It's good for letting go of relationships, good for clarity, brings peace. Great self-love stone, compassion, lots of compassion needed for us at this time. This is a good stone to help you with that. I also want to mention Rainbow Moonstone, which is good for giving you strength and courage, helps you balance out your emotions, helps you with your intuition, helps you have a higher perspective. So maybe you're in a situation where you're having a hard time figuring out what it is you're supposed to do. Do I stay? Do I let go? You know what? Those of us who have suffered great trauma as children very often don't trust ourselves. We don't trust that we can make the right choices and decisions for ourselves. And part of the way that you can learn how to move beyond that is by getting some support around that. So that if you're having some difficulty with clarity, I've mentioned several stones now that will help you with clarity, or some situations that are helping you gain a higher perspective. You know, like when you're, the analogy I give people is like being in a corn maze, right? Or a crop circle. When you're in it and you're on the ground, it just looks like a bunch of dead weeds and grass, right? And it's sort of like a maze. You can't tell. There's no pattern to it. It makes no sense to you. But if you get in a plane and you fly over it, you get to see this beautiful pattern, and now you can understand how things connect and work together. So sometimes having some stones and doing some meditation with those stones can really help you to gain a higher perspective so that you can trust your higher knowledge and know what it is that you need to do to move forward. Your higher knowledge will never steer you wrong. Your higher knowledge is where all the answers exist and where they are, and you have access to that knowledge. And if you will take the time to be with yourself, to get the support you need to get around you, whether it's therapy or counseling or getting yourself some stones, doing some healing work, and I recommend doing all of it, quite honestly, because most of us need all of it, that can help you be able to learn how to trust yourself again, to know that you're making the right choices that align with your divine life purpose. I always say go within and find out what the divine is telling you need to do. Doesn't matter what anybody else is saying, but you've got to be able to trust that. And your ability to be able to trust that depends very much on your emotional and mental health. So make sure that you're addressing all of that. We are holistic beings. Address all of it. Please, please, please. See, another moonstone that I want to mention to you is this Peach Moonstone, which recently came into my awareness. Peach Moonstone is so beautiful. And so once we get all this other stuff cleared out, this is a great stone. And even as we're clearing things out, right? Even as we're clearing things out, this is a great stone for inner growth and strength. It helps you forge a clear path forward. It's a great stone for safety, emotional safety, which so many of us need. And it can help you, another stone that can help you sort through your emotions when you're not sure what's going on and what to do. And it's a great stone for new beginnings. So it's a beautiful stone to help you with all of that. I also want to mention a Smoky Quartz. Smoky Quartz is good for so many things. Smoky Quartz are really great for helping you let go of the past if you're struggling with that. It's also good for neutralizing what I call stale energy. Some people call it negative energy or energy that no longer serves you. This is a great stone to help you move through some of that energy, and it's a good grounding stone. Again, we're working with earth energies right now in addition to these divine feminine fluid energies, and a lot of the stones that I've shown you are very divine fluid energy stones. It's good to have some nice groundedness come into the picture too, to help us with that earth energy that's going to be intercepting between the masculine and feminine energies, to bring that connection and alignment so that we can be balanced in what we're doing as we're processing through these energies at this time. So this is a really good grounding stone, inspires positive thoughts and helps you move forward with action. So that is a Smoky Quartz. It's good for that. The other grounding stone I want to bring out to you today is this black tourmaline. Black tourmaline is a great grounding stone. One of the first stones you can probably get if you're not familiar with stones. It's a pretty popular one and very well known. It's a good protective stone also. So if you're feeling a little afraid of what's happening right now and where you're going, this is going to be a really good stone to help you feel more calm in that. And it soaks up a lot of stale energy or energy that will no longer serve you. So as you're releasing that energy, this can be a good stone to sit with and meditate with, to absorb some of that energy that you no longer need, or help pull that energy out of your energy field. Really good stone for that. Another one that I'll mention is tiger iron. Tiger iron is great. These are really great grounding stones. Also great for self-healing. They help you with stamina. Clarity, again, helps you with getting your clarity back. Courage, strength, helps you face challenges. So again, a lot of the times when we're going through these periods of dealing with those deeper things, it can be difficult for us to want to face that, particularly if there's decisions that we need to make around that. We may have a hard time making those choices and decisions. And by the way, I did a really good video on making challenging choices and decisions around this time. I'll put a link to that in the description so that you can access that if you've not had a chance to see that. But this is a really good stone to help you be able to face those challenges and decisions so you can move forward with what you need to do in your life. Also great for stamina, great for blood. I specifically picked this one because it's a good blood cleanser, and we're dealing with that blood moon, and like I said, there's like a letting that happens. This will really support that energy at this time, to allow that, whatever it is, to be released from your energy field again, so that you can move forward into the fullness and the beauty of who you are. All of this is really about that, and the divine has given us on this planet, actually, isn't it so loving? Has given us everything that we need to move forward with our lives and become the best and truest and highest versions of who we are. So I hope at this time that this information has been really useful for you. If you have any questions for me or you have any comments, please leave them down in the comments section. I would love to engage with you. You can IM me too. I'm available that way. And what I want to tell you is that I hope that this season proves to be a beautiful releasing time for you, and an expansive, flowering, growth, expanding time for you, so that you can move into the truest version of who you are, which simply means that you can live your most inspired life. And so if there's anything I can do for you, I'm available to you. Other than that, I'm going to wish you a very happy morning, evening, afternoon, whatever time of day it is for you. And I will also say, as always, may you ever live inspired. Thank you for joining me. Bye-bye.